In 30 days you become a permanent resident. Now that is the layer, right, that you want on top of this Vanuatu passport, so you're not exposing your Vanuatu credentials. That's the first layer. You want to shield this, right? You want to cover your reputation properly and legally. All right, so in this video I'm going to discuss the use case of a Vanuatu passport. A lot of people feel that this is one of the most tainted CBI citizenships. The reason why a lot of people keep asking about this one is because the checks are loose, I would say, as compared to some of the other ones. Now, of course, they do their due diligence. I'm not criticizing the due diligence, but everyone knows that it's slightly easier as compared to the other ones. The other big reason why someone does a Vanuatu is because the first thing is the profile. It's easier so they can sneak in. And secondly, what stands out is the speed, the processing times. They claim 4 weeks, in some cases up to 2 months, right? So that's crazy. 4 to 8 weeks to get a citizenship is kind of no joke. But then the problem is in the reputation, right? So for some people think it's okay. And none of this is immigration advice, right? This is what I'm talking about, what practically people talk about. I remember one of the clients was asking about, hey, which is the best CBI? If I get a CBI, are people going to think that I'm a money launderer or some sort of a drug dealer or something? And I'm like, a lot of people are genuine people who get these, right? But the reputation is sometimes taxing. Some countries are going to look at it negatively, other countries are not going to care. So it all really depends upon where you're traveling, what you're trying to do, how the other person sees you, etc., etc. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is when you have that kind of a passport, right, a CBI passport, it doesn't have to be Vanuatu, but especially when you have something like a Vanuatu, that's the first layer. You want to shield this, right? You want to cover your reputation properly and legally. Now, what does Vanuatu offer? Of course, it offers a citizenship. It's a real passport. It has to be accepted at a few places. If you look at the Latin coverage of the Vanuatu passport, it does cover a lot of the Latin countries. So let's say you have a visa free in a country that does not require you to get the visa as a condition for getting the residency, right? So let's talk about Panama. Panama is the biggest explosion of late. Just had a video on Panama. It has joined Mercosur as an associate state. Now, there are two flavors of this passport. One is instant, almost immediate, right? Once you get the residency, that's a non-citizenship based passport. The second one, of course, is the traditional citizenship based passport. I've discussed this in detail and why this passport now makes a lot of sense than ever before. If you've missed that coverage, return and take a look at this video. This covers the breaking news and the options that you have to strike the permanent residency and work on your Panamanian nationality. But let's say you're using a primary nationality to get that permanent residency, and that is where this passport like a Vanuatu could be handy, where let's say you have the access, you don't need a visa to enter, let's say Panama in this case. And if you use this passport, you enter visa free. And let's say you do one of the VIP options, which is, let's say you park some money in a property and you strike the residency in 30 days, you become a permanent resident. Now that is the layer, right, that you want on top of this Vanuatu passport. So you're not exposing your Vanuatu credentials. Panama sits on top of something like this. And then you can use that jurisdiction for your business purposes, for your transactional purposes. So you're legally safeguarding your underlying residency. Let's say if you think it's a reputational issue, then because of the Panama layer, you have cleared some of those reputational concerns. And when you have this, let's say you're working towards the full Panamanian nationality. So Vanuatu could be that starting point. You have a nice layer sitting on that citizenship of this permanent residency. And then eventually you convert into the real rich citizenship, which will give you what you're looking for. Now, Vanuatu also happens to be one of the cheapest citizenships out there. This is in direct competition now with Nauru. Nauru came with a CBI. What is the use case of Nauru? It's for a limited set of people who really want to get access to UK and Ireland. Those are the two countries, the two of the top countries that are still available on the Nauru passport. So that's the place where you're trying to strike your residency, and you're really not trying to expose your underlying nationality. You want to legally safeguard your nationality. You want to add a layer and then do the UK or Ireland. Then Nauru is more applicable in that sense. But if you are operating in the Latin American markets, then I think Vanuatu works fine. The Latin countries, most of them, they don't give a shit about the Vanuatu passport as long as you're a legit citizen. As long as this thing is legal, you can easily operate in that region. Of course, keep things legal, right? If you're trying to do anything wrong with a tainted option, and I'm not suggesting that Vanuatu is tainted, right? Again, I'm not bad mouthing Vanuatu. I personally think it's an okayish option. It is what it is, right? For what you get. So let's say the Latin doesn't care about your Vanuatu reputation. You go there, you add the layers on top of that passport, you get a bunch of residencies from there, so you're protected. And then you're working towards that citizenship. Your home country nationality is protected. So let's say you want the speed, you want something super fast, you want to strike a residency in Latin America, you're looking for the 4 weeks or 8 weeks nationality, you get this, you pair it with that residency, leave that aside, do your thing on the side, and then eventually you collect your main citizenship, right? So that materializes, you naturalize in one of the Latin countries, and most of the people will target at least one Latin or South American citizenship. That's going to be very beneficial. So this combination can do its thing. Let's say you're trying to do the Ireland citizenship because you want that EU passport. So let's say you do a Nauru and tag the Irish one on that. So that's working its way. Your home country nationality is targeting some other strategically important residencies. And at any point in time, if you are interested in striking any of these residencies or combinations, you can click the link, book a call. We can discuss the best one, the best combination, and these combinations work in parallel, right? So you can strike multiple things at the same time. One of the most popular options now is the South Africa, and because of the Panama change, I'm getting a lot of inquiries on Panama. The biggest benefit and a similarity between South Africa and Panama is that these are dateless permanent residencies. This is huge because it removes the hassle of traveling to that country to renew the residency. Only a single entry, let's say in 3 years or 2 years in the country, satisfies your entry requirements, and that's it. And these are very useful options for Plan B security purposes. And some of those Caribbean ones don't make any sense in 2025. I'm sorry to say this. I mean, some are okay, maybe one is fine. But overall, and again, this is not immigration advice, this is my personal opinion, I don't particularly like those programs because A, the reputation is what it is, right? A pure Caribbean CBI reputation. And second, I think the bigger issue is the price is doubled. So that really does not make any sense in 2025. What does make sense is to get residencies. Let's say you get one passport either through descent or marriage or naturalization, whatever it is, right? Whatever you qualify for, you have that one nationality. And if you don't qualify for anything, then you have some CBIs that may make sense. So once you strike a CBI, layer the proper residency on the right passport, and then you have a portfolio that's growing, right? You're watering this portfolio with these residencies. After, let's say, 5 years or 10 years, everything blossoms, and then you're collecting. You are getting there. Now you're starting the thing, you're planting the seeds, you're watering it, and then in 5 to 10 years, you all know how it works. You put the effort now, keep it on the side, and then it blossoms, and then you pick up cherry pick the beautiful nationalities once you become eligible for it, right? So let's say you're working on a Mexico, that happens in future. You're doing the same thing with South Africa, or let's say Argentina, or a bunch of options, right? Bunch of residencies which have flexible pathway to citizenship. Or let's say you're trying to trigger the Panama. These are all very good options for the future. So you start off with a starter passport, maybe CBI, maybe something else, and eventually you're collecting beautiful nationalities. And you're also getting discrete advantages because you're legally structuring this correctly for maximum protection from draconian regimes. Before you go, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any latest developments. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.